This episode has 2 weeks worth of updates, including the first weekly payments for my YieldMax ETFs. I also ran into an unexpected problem with PAAA that almost put me into a margin call, so stay tuned. I'm on the hunt for an infinite stream of dividend income. It begins with my plan to turn $1,000 of Robinhood's money into $1,000 of my money. And remember, none of this is financial, legal, or tax advice. You need to do your own research for your investments. Here's a quick refresher on my strategy. I'm a member of Robinhood Gold. I pay $50 a year, primarily for the 3% IRA match. But one of the perks of membership is an interest-free $1,000 margin loan, which is key to my strategy. Next, I purchased my foundation fund, PAAA, using a little over $2,000 of my money. PAAA is the anchor of my portfolio and is intended to keep my balance above the $2,000 margin minimum. I then took out a $1,000 interest-free margin loan. I used that money to buy $250 each of MSTY, SNOY, COI, and NVYY. I'm taking the dividends and splitting it in half. 50% goes back into the fund that produced the dividend, and 50% goes into my forever fund, which I chose as SPY. It's a NAV stable ETF, and I'm planning to keep it forever. Once I build up my position in SPY to $1,000, I'll then turn to paying off the margin loan, leaving me with $1,000 of SPY for free. I was out of town last weekend, so I wasn't able to make a video. So this video has 2 weeks worth of updates. Let's start with the dividends. NVYY paid me about 45 cents the previous week and about 43 cents this week. The fund has settled into a channel of distributions in this 42 to say 47 cent range. And according to NVYY's website, the current distribution rate is about 97%. So there's nothing to complain about here. COI paid me $1.16 last week and 80 cents per share this week. I'm pretty happy with that. Although 80 cents is still a bit on the lower side, it's a good bit above the 50 cent, 40 cent distributions that we have seen in the past. And the COI website shows the current distribution rate of about 61%. I'd really like that to be 80%, 90%, or 100%, but it bounces around a lot. Overall, these two COI distributions have been fine. I received my first 2 weekly dividends from MSTY and SNOY. The numbers you see in red here are simply a note that I haven't had time to reinvest those yet. MSTY's first dividend of 60 cents was pretty high, and I suspect that's because it's been several weeks since their previous dividend, so they built up a lot of distribution. For the second weekly distribution, you can see it fell all the way down to 21. MSTY's website is showing a current yield of about 89%, which is on target. SNOY was in a similar situation, although it had one less week of dividend buildup compared to MSTY. It paid me about 39 cents for the first distribution, and then on the second one, it dropped dramatically. This is only about a 48% distribution rate, which is not good. I'll reinvest these dividends on Monday. The orders have already been placed. Finally, I did get a dividend from SPY. 53 cents per share has been about on par with the previous dividends, and it'll be automatically reinvested on Monday. Here's a look at the 2-week price return for all 4 of my high-yield ETFs. NVYY and SNOY were essentially flat over these 2 weeks. COI dropped down significantly, but had a great rebound on this last Friday. And MSTY has just been trending lower, down over 12% in the last 2 weeks. I'm beginning to get concerned about MSTY's price stability. If we go out to 1 month, you can see it's trailing all of these significantly. 6 months, same thing. A couple of weeks ago, I did do a video on my MSTY checkup, and I compared it against some of the other single stock ETFs that are based on MSTR, and it held its own against those stocks. But I'm starting to wonder if I just need to get out of MSTR related stocks altogether. The price keeps trending downwards. If we take a look at my total return summary, MSTY is down a whopping 37%, and that's primarily due to the price decline. Surprisingly, SNOY is the only one of my 4 funds that's in the green at the moment. NVYY is about even, only down a little more than 1%, and COI has bounced around a lot. But I feel better about the underlying stock Coinbase than I'm feeling about MSTR right now. I'm going to keep a close eye on this to decide if I need to perhaps sub out MSTY for a different fund. And ironically, although SNOY is the only fund that's in the green right now, its distribution rate has been pretty low, currently at a little less than 50%. In the grand scheme of things, 50% is pretty high, but I was targeting ETFs with ultra high yield, 70%, 75%, kind of at the minimum. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on SNOY too to decide if I might need to sub that out. I've had no issues with NVYY's performance. It's paid me consistently, and it's pretty much kept its share value. On Robinhood, my equity value is up to $2,144, and my margin status is good. I'm in the green at low risk, up about 6.72% above my maintenance requirement. You can see I still have a pending order of $6.02, representing the dividends that I received Friday evening and haven't had a chance to reinvest yet. So come Monday morning, my margin use will be topped off again at $1,000. Now I want to turn my attention to a little scare I had on October 13th regarding PAAA. After hours, I was shocked to see that the value of PAAA had fallen about 6%, down into the $48 range. This is a $3 drop compared to what it was trading at earlier in the day. PAAA is not known for its wild price swings. It does have a sawtooth pattern, but this is related to distribution payouts, and October 13th was not part of the distribution cycle. This dropped my portfolio value significantly, and I ended up only $9 above my $2,000 maintenance threshold. This put me a hair away from a margin call. So what happened? Well, I have a theory. So my guess is that someone put in a buy limit order in that $48 range just on the hopes that somehow after hours something wacky would happen and they would get to pick up shares at a substantial discount. At the same time, someone put in a sell order just at market price. And because the only active buyer was someone who put in this low limit order, it filled, dropping the price dramatically. I've seen this happen at least twice with Ulti, where people have been able to pick up shares at maybe $1 less than the normal asking price during the overnight hours. It just seems to be an anomaly that sometimes people get lucky. The price went right back up when trading started the next morning, and I haven't seen anything similar to that since then. But I took it as a little bit of a cautionary tale. I purchased PAAA because of its stability, and it has been rock solid. But a market abnormality like this sent the price for a normally solid ETF much lower and could have put me in a margin call. So I'm just putting that out there for all of you margin users to consider that something really weird could happen during the after hours market that would impact your portfolio. I've been following WPay on this channel since it came out. It's been a very interesting fund. And this week, Roundhill announced a new change for the ETF that I think is great. They've added 4 new weekly pay ETFs for ARM Holdings, Alibaba, Costco, and Uber. Regardless of what I may think of those 4 individual tickers, I think it's great that Roundhill is diversifying even further. And that makes WPay even more intriguing for me. I do hold it in another account, and I think I may add to that. Here's a look at my upcoming dividends. It's gotten a lot more active now that SNOY and MSTY have joined the weekly payers. So let me know in the comments, do you think I should keep MSTY and SNOY, or do you think I should move on? And if so, what should I buy? If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please hit the like button and subscribe for future updates. And remember, none of this is financial, legal, or tax advice. I'm just taking you along my journey. And if you'd like to learn more about my small account margin strategy, check out the first 5 videos in the series. Good luck hunting those infinite dividends. Take care.